Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. At this time, I'd like to see who is present. Ms. Gutierrez,
I am present.
Mr. Ramirez,
Present.
Ms. Cabrera,
Present.
Ms. Magaña,
Present.
and I'm present as well. Ms. Copado, do we have any public comments to be read for closed session items?
Good evening, President Uribe, members of the board. We do not have any written public comments, but Dr. Yuan, do we have any public comments telephonically for closed session?
This time, nobody has called in for closed session.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I move to recess into closed session. May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote. Ms. Gutierrez,
Aye.
Mr. Ramirez,
Aye.
Ms. Cabrera,
Aye.
Ms. Magaña,
Aye.
and an aye for me as well. We will now recess into closed session.
Mr. McGuire, I believe the Board of Education wants to join the closed session.
I clicked on the wrong one.
I believe so.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Mr. Ellingson, will you lead us in the flag salute?
Yes, Madam President, thank you. Will everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Ellingson. Ms. Copado, can you please provide the closed session report out?
Yes, thank you, President Uribe, members of the board and members of the executive cabinet. We convened at closed session today at 5:02 p.m. With closed session discussions commencing at 5:08 p.m. Present were the following board members: Gutierrez, Ramirez, Cabrera, Magaña, and Uribe. Also present was myself, Dr. Scavarna, Dr. Ewan, Dr. Garland, Mr. Ellingson, and Ms. Hakopian. Mr. Bill McGuire joined us at 5:12 p.m. With regards to the items on the closed session agenda, as to item A1, Special Counsel Golnar Fozai was present at the meeting, provided a briefing and an update to members of the board. After receiving a briefing and an update, consensus was reached to provide Ms. Fozai with direction. No reportable final action was taken, nothing further to report. As to item AB, Dr. Garland and myself provided an update and a briefing to the members of the board. After further discussion, by a 5-0 vote, final action was taken to approve the settlement agreement as a compromise and release agreement in 08H case number 2021-01-05559. As to item AB, also Dr. Garland and I provided a briefing and an update to members of the board. After receiving an update and a recommendation to the board for settlement by a 5-0 vote, final action was taken to approve the settlement agreement as a compromise and release agreement in 08H case number 2020120484. With regards to the closed session agenda, we did go out of order, and from item A, we skipped to item C. Dr. Garland and Mr. Ellingson provided a brief update to members of the board. No final action was taken, nothing further to report. We then proceeded with item B. At this time, only the board members, Dr. Scavarna and myself, were present to discuss item C. At approximately 5:45 p.m., all members of the executive cabinet, as well as Mr. McGuire, exited closed session discussions. At this time, members of the board were provided with an update and a briefing. No final action was taken, nothing further to report. Closed session discussions concluded at 5:57 p.m. and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Copado. Okay, at this time, I move to approve the minutes. May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, Ms. Gutierrez,
Aye.
Mr. Ramirez. Mr. Ramirez?
Aye. Can you read? Aye.
Yes. Ms. Cabrera?
Aye.
Ms. Magaña?
Aye.
And an aye for me as well. That motion is carried. Dr. Garland, are there any modifications to this evening's agenda?
Good evening, Madam President. Yes, item 14C was revised and copy has been provided to you and a copy has been uploaded to our website for the public.
Thank you, Dr. Garland. I move to approve the agenda with modifications as indicated by Dr. Garland. May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, Ms. Gutierrez,
Aye.
Mr. Ramirez,
Aye.
Ms. Cabrera,
Aye.
Ms. Magaña.
Aye.
And an aye for me as well. That motion is carried. Dr. Garland, do we have any student board member reports?
Good evening, Madam President. Yes, we do. We're going to begin with Sandy Membrano from Applied Technology Center High School. Good evening, President Uribe, members of the board and the executive cabinet. My name is Sandy Membrano, and I'm the current junior ASB president of the Applied Technology Center. Along with their bi-monthly meetings occurring every other Friday, the TLC Club is currently running their elections for their cabinet for the upcoming school year. It will be decided by the upcoming meeting. TLC also hosted a virtual movie night for the viewing of The Guardians of the Galaxy on the 16th of April. Other than meeting every Thursday, the club HOSA completed their participation in their state leadership conference competitive events. HOSA is also in the process of recruiting new cabinet members for the upcoming school year and are in the process of interviewing potential candidates. The NAMI Club is not only meeting every Tuesday, but they are also looking into expanding their club to other schools like MHS, SHS, and BGHS. In hope of providing a place to deepen the understanding of mental health for the mentioned schools, their plan will commence by the end of the school year and by the start of the upcoming school year. Meanwhile, holding bi-weekly meetings, the East Sports Club is preparing for an upcoming tournament consisting of 4 different games. The Chef Pathway also worked on providing lab kits with recipes for students in the Chef Pathway to work on, providing them weekly on Thursdays and Fridays. Meanwhile, the Health Pathway started having a counselor run through mental health and stress workshops for their students. ATC's ASB held another Pathway Games event that consisted of competition in a Disney-themed Kahoot on the 16th of April. The talent showcase, also hosted by ASB, was held on the 21st of April, which led to the decision of 3 winners of the prizes. On the campus of ATC, class of 2021 had their senior time capsule event on Friday, April 23rd. Following the proper social distancing etiquette, they also participated in reconnecting with their peers and adding personal mementos to the time capsule. On the dates of the 24th and 25th of April, ASB held a clothing drive from 9 to 3. There is preparation for the upcoming clothing drive on the 29th and 30th of May. Another Pathway Games event will occur on the 4th of May, but this time with the participation of Pathway facilitators and students teacher night. A team game of Jeopardy will decide who will win that event. On the 7th of May, ATC will hold the first part of Senior Decision Day, starting at 1 p.m. and ending at 3 p.m. This will be held drive-through style in the theme of Adventure is Out There, inspired by the movie Up. As for the second part of Senior Decision Day, will be held virtually on the 10th of May from 10:10 a.m. to 10:50 a.m., consisting of a presentation of Class 2021's plans after high school. The class of 2024 will also have their own Pathway Decision Day on the 21st of May from 1 to 3. It will be held drive-through style, which will have the freshmen choose their pathway. The class of 2021 will have their in-person senior award assembly on the 25th of May. Then the end and finale of a long-held Pathway Games will come on the 27th of May. These last 4 games will decide who's victorious in this highly anticipated competition between the 4 pathways of ACE, Chef, Health, and PALS. Thank you. That is all for ATC's May Student Board Report. Next, we have Judith Perez Sanchez from Bell Gardens High School. Good evening, President Uribe, members of the board, superintendent, and the executive cabinet. My name is Judith Perez Sanchez. I'm the Associated Student Body President of Bell Gardens High School for the 2020-2021 academic school year. I would like to start off by saying, I hope you're doing well. Our Lancer community would like to thank you for giving all of our Montebello Unified District schools an update on graduation. It's very encouraging knowing that our district is communicating with us. Moving on, our Lancer community has been very busy these past few weeks with home games for softball, football, soccer, and water polo. Although not many students could go to the games, as ASB, we made posters for all the sports when their games were home so they could feel the support within those posters. We also made sure students had their wellness check done, and we always check their temperature. Ms. Blizzard, our ASB secretary, was always there making sure everything was in order and attending all athletic events held on campus. She always made sure everyone was being safe and not endangering others. We would love to recognize her contributions that have been made by her in all school functions and athletic events. On March 31st, we hosted a drive-through event for our principal and honor roll students. Mr. Miranda, our principal, was life of the party, making it memorable for students when receiving their certificate and lawn sign. We had posters around the school, and we had a DJ playing music as well. I would like to thank all the board members who attended our event. It's very much appreciated. Our athletic, cheer, and drill teams have had the opportunity to celebrate a senior game night, honoring the 12th graders, and much appreciated by family and students. On May 3rd, we honored Mr. Joey Jordan, our athletic director, for his devotion to all student athletes and our athletic facilities. He spent more time in our school than at home servicing our community. I would like to give a huge shout out to our amazing senior class president, Eliana Madrigan, and senior class vice president, Manuel Mendez Valenzuela, for always coming up with amazing senior events. They are both athletes and honor roll students and make time to always plan out events. They hosted a senior week on April 26th through the 30th. Monday was Senior Appreciation Day. Tuesday was Aloha Seniors. Wednesday was a trip down memory lane. Thursday was Commitment Day, and Friday was Senior Sunrise. We had an amazing outcome. We could post every senior that would send us a picture. Our ASB students had continued planning movie afternoons via our Lancer Lounge, assisting with poster making, promoting SEL activities, and continually promoting all school-related activities. We celebrate Administrative Assistant Day, and we are thankful for all staff that help keep our school functioning. Despite the pandemic, we're thankful for all of them. This week, we are celebrating our teachers with posts, email, certificates, songs, and postcards. We could have not done it without them. Our amazing Bell Gardens Park and Rec Department hosted a vaccination drive on campus May 4th and recorded over 600 participants. Our varsity boys soccer defeated Montebello High School on May 4th and became Almont League co-champions. Good luck to our boys who will continue CIF competition next week. We are proud to announce that our drill team became 2021 USA National Champions in Open Small Military and Open Large Military. Congratulations. We would like to thank the district, Bell Gardens High School administrative staff, board members for granting the class of 2021 future senior events that are much needed to lift our morale. I would like to continue to encourage your active consideration in granting Bell Gardens High School equal communication access per working marquee. Thank you for your continued support for all our students and our families. Nancy Garcia is our next student, Montebello High School. Good evening. Board President Uribe, members of the board, Interim Superintendent Dr. Scarvana, Executive Cabinet, and members of the audience. My name is Nancy Garcia, and I'm the Associated Student Body President at Montebello High School. Beginning April, we brought back our weekly Wellness Wednesdays. We've introduced guest speakers who encourage resilience through telling their stories, and we have discussions based on how we've been feeling. On October 28th, we had our food drive, partnering with Hilda Solis and Heart of the Compassion, and helped feed over 500 families and foster youth. For our seniors, we had a senior sunset on April 21st on our football field and socially distanced. This past Saturday, we had our Statement of Intent Register, or SIR Day, to celebrate our seniors' path after high school, whether it meant college, higher education, military, or workforce. Our seniors were separated by modified hours based on last names to ensure safety. We planned virtual events for our monthly Mental Health Month that will take place on social media. Throughout the entire month of May, we are posting important figures for Asian Pacific American Heritage Month on our Instagram story. The students in Montebello High want to thank you for allowing our athletics program to come back and thrive. By taking all necessary precautions, our sports teams have been able to have successful seasons. And with that, we thank you for all that you've done and continue to do for the students at MHS. As ASB president, I met with my cabinet to discuss how we can make all students feel connected to MHS. Those that are not in sports are struggling to make a connection, and it's our job to help them. So I asked why we are being refrained from planning any more safe in-person events for our students and seniors. As an ASB, we met constantly and worked very hard to plan events that will help our students, especially for our seniors who have endured so much and expect events like senior movie night on our football field. It's our last year at Montebello High. As we are strictly following regulations, we can also follow suit in the expected events for our class of 2021. We have traditions and plan events that are different from the rest of the high schools in the district and ask to please not be limited in our events. MHS is a community-based school and we are not responsible for events that come out of other schools. We appreciate the precautions taken by the board and we continue to abide by LA County Department of Health guidelines. We just want to show love to our students safely. I believe that's why we all do this, for them. Thank you for your time and acknowledgement. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Okay, our next one is Gabriel Segura. Good evening, Board President Uribe, members of the Board of Education, Interim Superintendent Dr. Scarvana, Executive Cabinet, and members of the audience. My name is Gabriel Segura, and I'm the Student Body President of Sure High School. On April 19th, we held once again another blood drive with the Arc of Montebello and the Red Cross, where we collected 49 units of blood, which will potentially save 147 lives. On April 30th, seniors came to Sure for a drive-through cap and gown pickup. Our Renaissance Club sold a class of 2021 t-shirts with all the students' names on it. Sales went very well. This Friday, we're preparing to hold an event we call The Next Step, where seniors are invited to campus to walk around one last time and say goodbye. In the middle of the month, the student body fundraised and planted a tree on our campus we call the Tree of Hope. We also began to distribute student IDs, and students came to pick them up on campus during certain days of the week. Most sports have begun or even finished their season, such as football, track and field, soccer, and baseball. Most of our clubs have been working with local businesses to have fundraisers such as CSF and the Seven Leaves Cafe and NHS at One Zoo. Our Avid Club is working with their annual Avid Talent Show, which will be released very soon. Okay, our last one is from Vail High School. Good evening, Madam President, Uribe, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Scarvana, and the Executive Cabinet. My name is Angelina Felix, and I'm the Associated Student Body President from Vail High School. Much has been going on at Vail despite distance learning. We're currently in the 6th week of the last quarter. This year has been quite a journey, but the Vail family has made the most of it. Our ELL students successfully completed the LPAC, and the 11th graders participated in SPAC. Thanks to our wonderful site testing coordinator, Mrs. Sanchez, and our dedicated teachers, Mrs. Balateras and Mrs. Lazarga and Mrs. Mendoza, the testing process went very well. The students were eager to finish CAS testing, and many of them have hopes of graduating in June. Finding out the credit requirement of 180 really boosted spirits in our number of graduating seniors. This year, we have 131 potential graduates, and we are so proud of what we have accomplished. We are so happy to be able to celebrate our accomplishments at Vail now, and we are having in-person graduation. The student body and school staff are excited to plan and prepare for the occasion. In other news, ASB is still trying to keep the school spirit strong by launching a hip hip hooray for May activities. Every week in May, students can have a little fun by changing their icons to the selected themes. For example, this week's student changed Google icons to Star Wars for May the 4th or something to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Next week, they can change icons to lovely landscapes or flowers since May brings the beautiful plants to life. The following 2 weeks are baby animals for Memorial Day, show the love for those lost. These activities are simple, but it's a way for us to connect even though we've been apart for so long. We're definitely looking forward to coming back in August. We thank the board and district for keeping our safety in mind and taking the time to prepare our schools before we come back. The staff and students are eager to see each other in person once more. And that concludes our student board comments.
Thank you, Dr. Garland. Okay, at this time, I will move on to Interim Superintendent of School Reports, Dr. Scavarna.
No report for this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. At this time, Dr. Yun, do we have any school service organization reports?
Yes, we do. We have 2. I'll start with the Parent Advisory Committee. Good afternoon, Board President, Mrs. Uribe, board members, Superintendent Mr. Scavarna, Assistant Superintendent Dr. Ewan, and Dr. Garland. My name is Elsie Sakida, President of the Parent Advisory Committee, Hvac, and I want to start my report by saying thank you all for everything you are doing for our MUSD students during these hard times and all the help with the distance learning experience. Now, I would like to share that our PAC committee had a meeting on April 13, 2021. Our meeting was full of great information. All PAC representatives and the public had the opportunity to get the local control and accountability plan report. PAC members were provided in-depth explanations regarding how to read, interpret, and give recommendations for the parent involvement policy, as well as a brief history and connection with the ESSA, Every Student Succeeds Act, presented by Mr. Davila. Our next meeting is May 11, 2021. Finally, I also want to thank you for supporting parents to participate in a weekly book club meeting and providing all parents with the books and supplies we need. The club has finished reading the and discussing the book Esperanza Rising, and are moving on to the third book. This concludes the PAC report. Thank you for your time and continued support. Keep staying safe and healthy. Elsie Sakita, PAC President. The next one is from Head Start Policy Council. Good evening, President Uribe, members of the board, Mr. Mark Skavarna, Interim Superintendent, Executive Cabinet, and members of the audience. My name is Rosara Aguirre. I am the Head Start Policy Council President. The following program updates were covered in our Policy Council meetings. March 30th, 2021, January Program Summary, February Program Summary, Self-Assessment Results. This is the first year that this assessment was conducted virtually. Approved the eligibility, recruitment, selection, enrollment, attendance, updated the Head Start enrollment, education report on the current class study, presentation of the Dual Immersion Academy by Dr. Lazama, presentation of the adult education program by Mr. Tenorio, approved the submittal of the refunding application, approved the hiring of the family services manager. One of our PC parents was a part of the interview panel. April 27, 2021, elections for one personnel subcommittee member, March program summary, Focus 2 area review report, update on early Head Start program, education report on transition into kindergarten, update on current enrollment and enrollment for the 2021-2022 school year, family outcomes survey, parent activities for the month of May, update and video on the Macy Intermediate project, approve the hiring of a senior office assistant. One of our PC parents was a part of the interview panel, approve the cost of living adjustment, COLA, and quality improvement application. Our next regular PC meeting is scheduled for May 25th, 2021. Thank you for the opportunity to share this information with you. Have a wonderful evening. And that concludes our school service organization reports.
Thank you, Dr. Yuen. Do we have any employee organization reports?
Yes, first I'd like to call up Dr. Angel Gallardo, who will be representing AMSA.
I believe he may be in the attendees.
Yes, we're moving people as we call them up.
Okay, perfect.
My apologies. This is our new system today. It's a little different. Good evening, Madam President, Madrigal Uribe, board members, Superintendent Dr. Mark Skavarna, Executive Cabinet, and community members. My name is Angel Gallardo, and I am the AMSA President, representing the administrators, the AMSA management, the AMSA Classified Management, AMSA Classified Supervisors, AMSA Classified Managers, and confidential employees. We in AMSA continue to pray for the well-being of all our colleagues and their loved ones. We want everyone to continue to keep safe and continue to support those family members who have lost members or friends to COVID-19. We continuously hear of more people losing lives and friends and family, and our hearts and prayers are with them. It is with great pleasure that on behalf of AMSA, I welcome Dr. Mark Skavarna as the interim superintendent to our district. Dr. Skavarna, welcome back, as we're very happy that you have returned to help our district in its path to continue excellence. We wish you many personal and professional successes as you lead us in new heights. Welcome, and we are here to support you in any way possible. In addition, it is my pleasure also to welcome, on behalf of AMSA, our new Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, Ms. Sepor Kopian. We wish you many successes in our district. We're happy that you have joined our family, and we know that we're here to support you as well. Anything that you need, I think you have a group of people that you can call on that we're willing and able to help. To our board members, thank you for your leadership, as you have shown us that you have our students as the center of your actions and your planning. We are very thankful that you consider the recommendations of all of our colleagues that are in the district, and we want to thank you for that. We also want to say congratulations to the mothers and Mother's Day that is coming up. I know that this particular day for me is very special, since my mom was also contracted COVID-19. And I realized that, in our district, We have many reasons to be so thankful and also to celebrate the mothers that are our colleagues, their mothers, their daughters, and anyone who is celebrating this Mother's Day. So on our behalf, congratulations and thank you for all that you do for our district and our students. Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Gallardo.
All right, thank you. And next we have Mr. Patkowski representing MTA.
Good evening. When I first went to Vietnam, I didn't know how to cross a street. I tried to stay with big crowds anytime I had to get across the street because I didn't want to make the wrong move. But one evening, it was dark, it was rainy, and I had to get to the other side of the street that had lots of motorcycles moving on it. So I just took off, started walking across, and I saw a motorcycle right in front of me, and I thought, that motorcycle is not going to miss me. So I stopped right in the middle of the street. And as soon as I did, I felt a piece of steel hit the back of my leg. The guy who was going to go around me didn't think I was going to stop. He thought I was going to keep going. Well, I was able to get across the street and kind of hobble away, and I still couldn't figure out what in the world I was doing. How do you get across one of these streets? And I remember walking next to people and trying to figure it out. And I finally realized that once you hit the curb, you keep moving. You keep at the same pace you've got, and you never slow down, and you never speed up either. And those motorcycles will go right around you because they can see how fast you're going and they can avoid you. And I feel that in some ways, that's sort of what happened to our district. We kind of came to an intersection and we were not quite sure how to get across. And when we got to that intersection, we stepped out and unfortunately, like me, we kind of came to a pause. And as a result, we've had about 3 weeks from March 30th to April 21st, when not much of anything was happening from an administrative level at our district. I'll give you one example. When we tried to apply for a waiver for the state of California to not have standardized testing, we had to lobby with the Department of Education, and we did that for months, it seemed. And finally, they gave us a waiver so that we wouldn't have to take the CASP or SBAC. Most districts in our area chose to take another assessment, such as iReady, which is one that we have and we're already using. Kids are used to it. A lot of stress reduction when you know your exam. But in our district, we just took the CASP. One of the few districts in the area that did it. And the reason we did it is because it was the default. I'm not sure why. We didn't use the waiver to use an alternative method. I think it was very stressful for our students, but they'll get over it. I mean, it is a standardized test and they are going to have to get used to taking standardized tests again. But it's an example of how there was a time when we just kind of went on pause. 2 weeks ago, when you did have a contract for our interim superintendent, we are assuming that that pause ended. And I'm certainly hoping that it has. I can give you a list of things that need to be done so that our students can come back to schools that are safe, where they can learn and they can flourish. Number one, as you know, is the HVAC. If you don't have clean air, you can't survive. I'm not saying that people are not going to literally survive, but that virus moves around in stagnant air, and we don't want it moving around. We need to make sure that we have good air circulation in our classrooms, not only for our teachers, most of whom are vaccinated at this point, which is exciting, and we're ready to come back, but for students. We're hoping that there's a vaccination very soon for 12 to 15-year-olds. 16 and 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, they can already get it. But we don't know about those younger kids. So we need to make sure that our air is clean and healthy and being filtered So that's number one. It needs to be done. And that is absolutely a necessity. We have many other things beside that need to be done. Of course, we need to get those water dispensers in place so that we can have clean water coming into those water bottles that our students will be having without touching anything. We need to upgrade our restroom facilities. You know, when we went through our schools, we saw that we didn't have enough of those kiosks to check somebody's temperature. We don't want to have a long line of hundreds of kids waiting to get their temperature checked. Maybe you need to get some of those handheld temperature checkers. We need to get kids through those gates into those classrooms as expeditiously as possible. There's a lot of work to be done. Big projects, of course, like the HVAC, but little details too, making sure that our classrooms are ready for them to come in and ready for them to learn. And I think that even more important, we have experienced more than just a physical pandemic. We have experienced a lack of social skills. Students are isolated. They're staring at a screen. They don't know how to interact with each other. It's been a long time. And many of them are missing that. Many of them have seen their families struggle with the COVID virus. They've seen their families struggle economically. They've seen their families struggle with not being able to see extended family members, grandparents, uncles, aunts. It's been tough. So when we come back, we're not just going to come back and hand people pencil and paper and say, let's start writing. We have to really be sensitive. We have to learn to know each other again. We need to develop those relationships and communicate effectively in a classroom, face to face. It's been a while. Many of our kids don't really remember it very well. They need to learn to communicate with each other, ask questions, answer questions, work together in teams. A lot of exciting things could be done. We need to prep them. What can we do with this COVID money? Well, we have about $150 million in COVID funding from the federal government in the 3 stimulus packages. $150 million for MUSD. Of course, we need to get those HVAC systems in place. Of course, we need to get those hand sanitizing stations in place. Of course, we need to get those water bottles refill stations. But we also need to provide for the social and emotional development of our students. And we need to gently help them to come back to the schools. We are ready to go, but our facilities need to be ready to go. And we need some time, a little bit of time, even beyond summer school. And we can work on this so that we can get to know these kids again and introduce them once more to what it's like to be in a classroom. Now, our time is running out. We're already in the month of May. And of course, we're 2 months away from summer school, 3 months away from the beginning of school. So our work is cut out for us. And I think that it's going to be a rough couple of months. We've got to work hard. We've got to work together. I'll tell you one thing that we could do that will really help is let's negotiate. We have submitted to the Montebello Unified School District our sunshine proposals, and you've got it in your board package. We would appreciate it if the district would also sunshine, and we would get together and we would negotiate with our bargaining teams. We would develop an MOU for summer school. We would develop an MOU for working conditions for the next school year. Let's get this done. There's no time to be wasted. And of course, we got to bargain a totally new contract as well. So let's do that. Our contract expires on June 30th. Let's not waste any time. Let's do the things we need to do to get ready to be united. And I also think it's very critical to remind all of you that we need a permanent superintendent. It's great that we have an interim superintendent. We know him. We've worked with him before. We know that he's not a guy that wastes any time. And I'm glad to know that because we have no time to waste. So let's get him busy, but let's also get started immediately searching for a permanent full-time superintendent who can guide our district for the foreseeable future after our interim superintendent's tenures is complete. So let's work together. It's going to be hard, but we can do this. I really do want to thank you for your recognizing teachers. That's very important for all of us. But I think even deeper than the recognition is the respect and the understanding that we will collaborate, we will work together to write those MOUs together, to get a new contract, to get ready to come back to our classrooms and make a difference in the life of every single student in this district so that they have a better life because of what they have learned and what they have experienced in our schools. So I want you to remember, we came to a standstill. It's real hard to get the momentum going again once you've come to a standstill, but we can do it. We got to push. We got to get our schools ready so we can come back. There's one thing for sure that's never going to stop moving, and that's the clock. And it's ticking every moment. So let's work hard. Let's work together. Let's try to find a new superintendent as soon as possible. But in the meantime, let's work with our interim and let's get our schools ready so we can reopen and have our students enjoy the benefits of preparation for a life of citizenship and participation in our communities. Thank you.
All right, and we have one more employee organization report, CSA, Ms. Marisol Rivera.
Good evening, Madam President, Madrigal Uribe, and members of the board, and Interim Superintendent, Dr. Scarvana, and Executive Cabinet and community members. We are in the month of May, especially today. Cinco de Mayo is an annual celebration held on May 5th. The date is observed to commemorate the Mexican Army's victory over the French Empire at the Battle of Puebla on May 5th, 1862. Under the leadership of General Ignacio Zaragoza. Just want to let you know, happy Cinco de Mayo. To our colleagues, happy Teachers Appreciation Week. Stay safe and continue providing a service to our students. You are appreciated from every student. COVID-19 has been part of our life as some of us mourn our family, friends, and acquaintances that have passed. We continue with this journey. It's not an easy task to do with strict guidelines, to follow as required. At the end of my report, I would like the board to remember that COVID-19 is not taken lightly. As a chapter president of Montebello 505, representing classified employees. Let me begin by acknowledging our classified employees as follows. We have celebrated our National Library Week, April 4th through the 10th on 2021. Our library media assistants have done a tremendous job during distance learning. They have not stopped in providing support to our staff and students as they are essential employees. Thank you for the acknowledgement that you provided on the last board meeting as we continue to acknowledge them. One of our biggest essential employees are our cafeteria workers. Since day one, they have been providing service to our students. But in these times, cafeteria workers are going above and beyond their normal duties. While most teachers and administrators are working from home, Zooming, school cafeteria workers are showing up to keep students and families fed. Our classified workers are not expecting a pat on the back. They do the job that is required of them because they care for our students and family. May 7th is School Lunch Hero Day. We owe them better working condition, increasing their working hours from 3 hours to 6 hours. Within their working hours, they pack breakfasts, lunches for our families to have during distance learning. Let's celebrate them as we continue with the journey of distance learning. Transportation. Our bus drivers have been an essential workers. They have been providing services to our students by delivering textbooks, luncheons, and any items a student needs. We also have students that had started going to school in the city of Downey, and we are providing transportation for our students. Currently, we have them transporting our students to and from school for sports events. Vehicle maintenance technicians have maintained our buses and vehicles accordingly. Providing the services as required and not expecting a pat on the back. Also, with the limitations of not having a director in transportation, the jobs are being performed. Warehouse logistics. They have been providing services to all sites accordingly, delivering textbooks, foods, materials, and PPE items. They also have not stopped working and delivering mail to the sites accordingly. They're essential workers and they're not expecting a pat in the back. Since day one, the job has been performed with limitations of not having a director of procurement. Our buyers have performed an excellent job within the limitations of distance learning, providing the service to all the sites with the ordering they have done and continue on doing and not expecting a pat on the back. Essential workers provide a service to all. Finance, payroll, benefit. Since day one, they have been providing a service to all with no exception. Payroll has made sure all employees have been paid on time. Finance has done the job that is expected of them during the distance learning, and benefits has provided a service accordingly. But let's not estimate, we are understaffed in certain areas, but that has not stopped classifying and performing the jobs. They're essential workers during this COVID-19, and we continue to provide the service that is required. They're not expecting a pat on the back. They are doing the job. Human resource classified, certificated, and risk management. Employees have provided a service to all accordingly with COVID-19 in place. Parent involvement specialists have provided a service to our parents as needed within distance learning. On-site support IT, our information and technology service. Employees have provided a tremendous amount of assistance to our students, parents, and sites, making sure their Chromebooks work and they have access to technology. Distance learning would have not been a sort of success without them, as they provide support to our teachers. They are essential workers and not expecting a pat by doing their job. Campus security officers have provided a safe environment for our students during events, distribution of materials, and continue to promote a secure environment for our students and staff. Patrolling our school buildings, grounds, and parking areas, and area adjacent to school property to maintain security. Health procedure specialists, student health assistants have been providing service to our sites during COVID-19 and to our parents as needed. They are essential workers and not expecting a pat on the back. Office assistant, senior office assistant, school records technicians, attendance technicians, attendance officers, school support secretaries, school secretaries, administrative assistants, specialists, and executive assistants have been celebrated on Administrative Professional Day on April 21st. They have gone to assure students that are connected to teachers as needed and have been the key part of the whole transition of distance learning in making sure information is provided to parents and students and staff, answering those calls from our parents, community, and staff, making sure attendance is taken and assisting students in providing support as needed, keeping records up to date, registering students accordingly, and just assuring parents that we are there for them, giving support to our staff as needed. They are essential workers and not expecting a pat on the back. Maintenance and operations facility project coordinators, hazardous material coordinators, welders, locksmith, glazier, HVAC technician, plumbers, electricians, carpenters, irrigation technicians, plasters, maintenance worker construction, maintenance workers mechanical, pool maintenance technician, custodials, ground maintenance, utility crew have played a tremendous role in our distance learning, making sure the jobs are being performed according to the needs of the site with the understaff of some of the classification. This has not stopped them in completing their job, making sure the facilities are up to keep with the minimal availability that has been provided to them. They are essential workers and are not expecting a pat on the back. The employees have stepped up to the challenges presented by the COVID-19 pandemic. Let us not forget our instructional aides and caseworkers have assisted our students' needs in their Zoom and Google Classroom as they overcome the challenges of distance learning, providing support to our certificated staff and parents accordingly. They are essential workers and are not expecting a pat on the back. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because we will be celebrating Classified School Employee Week, May 16th through the 22nd. As I mentioned in every sentence, they are essential workers getting it done. As our California State Superintendent of Public Instructional said, this has been an extremely difficult year, and meeting students' basic needs as well as their social and emotional needs has been more important than ever. Thankfully, our classified employees have made heroic efforts to step up and support California students so they can continue to learn. Montebello classified employees, no matter what their role is, they are essential workers getting it done. With every obstacle that we face, we are united and we are together, and we will continue to support the needs of our students as our priority. Dr. Scarvana, Classify is not expecting a pat on the back. We have hit the ground running since day one. On that note, just want to let the board, it is a pleasure welcoming Ms. Hakopian, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resource. We did have the opportunity to meet and discuss pending items with her, and I will continue to work with her. Welcome to MUSD, Ms. Hakopian. Madam President, Madrigal Uribe, and board members, I did mention that as a leader for Classify, I do not take lightly COVID-19. March 2021, there was an event that happened at the maintenance and operation facilities where you had your maintenance manager and operation manager and mechanical supervisor that had a taco vendor providing service to our employees in that department with disregard on COVID-19 guidelines and CSCA MOU. I find it very insulting that we are still facing COVID-19 and that the managers do not follow the simple guidelines and staying 6 feet distance from each other and the amount of employees congregating without masks. The leadership is what I find not appropriate with this event. It was brought up to my attention that afterwards that employee contracted COVID-19. After this event, they were sent home immediately, while your operation manager took it upon himself to send employees home and not report it to Human Resource Director. This is not the only time he has done this, and I don't understand what guidelines he follows. Obviously, he disregards set guidelines. Is this the type of management that the district approves? Management place employees in harm's way and exposing to COVID-19. A total of 4 COVID-19 positive cases happened at this site, and it was not reported accurately. Only 2 cases were reported, and operation manager has done this too many times. Board members, if we plan on reopening, we need to correct this. Board member Magaña, you said at the last board meeting, follow the chain of command. How are employees to follow the chain of command if the leadership does not follow set guidelines? It does not start from the bottom. It begins from the top. COVID-19 has been a serious virus, and we can't take this for granted as some of us have lost family members. Correct the situation before you begin in reopening the sites. Safety is for everyone. Do the right thing. I'll leave you with this. We think we are done with the pandemic, but the pandemic is not done with us. Thank you and have a great evening.
That concludes our employee service organizations.
Thank you, Dr. Yuan. At this time, I will be moving on to legal comments. Mr. McGuire?
I have no comments. Just glad to be here and looking forward to working with the district, the board, and the administration to do great things for kids.
Thank you, Mr. McGuire. Moving on to public comment. Ms. Copilot, do we have any to be read?
Thank you, President Uribe. Yes, we do have 4 written comments. Topic is senior graduation. If the state designates LA County as yellow and the County Board of Supervisor concurs, will the graduation attendance be allowed to increase to 67% capacity? If not, why not? Will the district impose all graduation attendance follow the same criteria? For example, if one campus cannot accommodate 60% due to parking or capacity occupancy, will the other campuses that can accommodate 67% be penalized? Jesse M. Garcia. Good evening, school board members. I'm a parent and would like an update regarding the reopening of schools. What plan does Montebello Unified School District have in place? Why is MUSD so late to reopen compared to other school districts? This is an important matter that has not been addressed to MUSD parent community. At the last meeting, it was vaguely stated there were a lot of behind the scenes work being done to get the students back into the classroom. I would like to know what actions have been done. Some news is better than no news. Please keep us informed of the actions the district has taken and is currently taking to make our schools safe for our kids to return. Thank you for your time, Sandra Rodriguez. The topic is concerns/questions for upcoming MUSD board meeting. Good evening. We are parents of 3 students at La Merced Elementary, 2nd, 1st, and TK. We understand the board meetings are a platform to express our concerns and ask questions with the assumption that it acts as a conduit for transparent communication. However, failure to provide staff and parents with responses is not providing this. If transparency is not the goal, then what benefit or purpose do these meetings hold? Education is one of the most important aspects of our children's lives. We should be provided with communication that is open and fully addresses the topics raised. A major issue for us and other families is that we committed to this program with the expectation of our children being immersed in a second language. We primarily speak English in our home, and the program was to provide intentional exposure to Spanish. Being physically present at school, especially in the early years, is critical in providing the foundation for learning and development of language. Virtual classrooms are not as effective, but rather contribute to greater difficulties for the young ones. Shorter attention span, decreased oral communication, etc. I'm aware that surrounding school districts, Whittier, Downey, Alhambra, and more, have already implemented and executed plans on having students return to in-person learning. What plans does MUSD have to return to school, and what are you guys doing to prepare? How is funding being utilized to ensure a safe return to in-person learning? I understand preventative measures and safety considerations to include ventilation improvements, possible plexiglass barriers, increased staff/teachers, and other considerations may be needed. However, we have not been updated about any such changes or a proactive approach to get our children back into the classroom. The district should be able to offer multiple learning schedules to satisfy parents' wants and needs. In the last survey, we were disappointed to see a lack of option or feedback for what best fit our children's needs. This includes a fully integrated return back to in-person learning. Understandably, the novelty of this pandemic has required all of us to adapt and be flexible, but now there needs to be a concerted effort for change back to the focus of educational, psychological, physical, emotional, and social well-being of our children. We believe this to be best achieved when our children are back in the classroom. We look forward to your timely response and update. Thank you for this opportunity and your time. Janet Madrigal Rubalcaba and Michael Rubalcaba. The topic is swimming pool at Bow Gardens High School. Hello, I teach physical education and coach the school's water polo at swim teams at Bow Gardens High School. We appreciate the support we have been receiving from the pool technicians, especially Anthony Holging, always keeping me informed of the pool conditions. However, due to our swimming pool being very old, our swimmers have not been able to enjoy their pool as they should because of issues with the pool's temperature, clarity, filters/drains/pumps. On behalf of my swimmers and their parents, we would like to reach out and say we would like support with getting a new pool. We have been hearing some quote unquote hearsay about a bid being put in to fix our pool and Montebello High School's pool, but since we have been hearing positive news that at times do not end up being done, we want to say that we were looking forward to a safe and appropriate swimming pool. When a swimming pool does not look safe and the temperature is not where it is supposed to be, it discourages students from joining the program. And we do have a good amount of students in the program that will continue to be in the program and look forward to their little siblings joining the program, but really want a safe pool. Thank you for your time, Pablo Cifuentes. He has listed his phone number, Bill Gardens High School PE Water Polo Swim. That concludes the written comments, President Uribe. But Dr. Ewan, do we have any public comments that have come in telephonically?
Yes, we have one, and this is Christine Dimas, and the topic is Chief Business Officer. Give me a moment while I put her on the phone.
Yes.
All right, go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Good evening, President Uribe and Board of Education. My name is Christine Chavez Dimas, and I would like to begin by recognizing the Montebello Unified School District teachers. The public truly appreciates your dedication and professionalism of the Montebello Unified School District teachers, and also your professionalism through this COVID pandemic. Please continue to be amazing. I would like to talk about the Hvac report that was presented to the public in January 2021. As you remember, there were quite a few items that needed to be addressed in order for the district to become stable in the areas of hiring practices and proper controls in the finance and accounting departments. The hiring of a CBO is still a high priority. What is the hiring practice going to be? We all know, and for those who didn't know, the last time a CBO was hired, the individual was not vetted properly, and there was a fear that this can happen again. The public will continue to be vigilant through this process. Hiring an individual with experience and a strong skill set for this position will send a strong message throughout the community that the district is ready to heal financially. And we certainly need to bump up our credit rating also with the MUSD so that we have access to better vendors. Let us remember, with the CBO in place, maybe our Citizens Bond Committee oversight will perhaps be committed to attending the meeting. Let me remind you that there has not been a quorum since June 2019. It is time to replace some of the members, perhaps update and amend the bylaws to reflect a better membership. The bylaws state that there should be a committee of 7. Right now, there's currently a committee of 6, but only 2 members have consistently been present at the meetings, and there hasn't been quorum. So something should be done and done quickly. How can we possibly move forward with the next $100 million of Measure GS bond money if we don't have a suitable CBOC for proper oversight? Thank you for bringing transparency back to Montebello Unified School District.
All right, thank you. That's 3 minutes.
Okay. All right, have a nice evening.
That concludes public comments.
Thank you, Dr. Ewan. At this time, we're going to consider item 14A, and I would like to call on Dr. Ewan.
Thank you. Tonight, we are presenting resolution number 20, condemning and combating racism, xenophobia, and intolerance against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. Since the start of the coronavirus pandemic of 2019, violence and inflammatory and xenophobic rhetoric have put Asian American and Pacific Islander persons, families, communities, and businesses at risk. Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders are a part of the Montebello Unified School District community, and deserve to be supported in their effort to combat this rise in violence against their families and communities, both nationwide and locally. And we recommend that the board approve resolution number 20.
Thank you, Dr. Yuan. Ms. Cabrera, will you read the resolution?
Board President. Whereas the Montebello Unified School District's support for inclusion and belonging for people of all races, national origins, and ethnicities is critical to guaranteeing the safety and security of all people. And whereas on June 21st, 2020, the Montebello Unified School District passed resolution number 39, recognizing the contributions of underrepresented minorities in Montebello Unified School District, providing a clear and transparent statement that Montebello Unified shall be a place where all students, employees, and families feel welcomed and safe regardless of their immigration status, race, color, ancestry, national origin, ethnic group identification, age, religion, marital or parental status, physical or mental disability, sex, sexual orientation, gender, gender identity, or gender expression. And whereas in Montebello Unified School District, Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders make up 2.5% of the student population and approximately 10.3% of the student population in Los Angeles County. And whereas 23 million Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders account for 7% of the nation's population in the United States. And whereas over 2 million Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders are working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic in healthcare, law enforcement, first responders, transportation, supermarkets, and other service industries. And whereas the use of anti-Asian terminology and rhetoric related to COVID-19, such as the Chinese virus, Wuhan virus, and Kung flu, have perpetuated anti-Asian stigma. And whereas the increased use of anti-Asian rhetoric has resulted in Asian Americans being harassed, assaulted, and scapegoated for the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas during the coronavirus pandemic of 2019, COVID-19, violence and inflammatory and xenophobic rhetoric have put Asian American and Pacific Islanders, persons, families, communities, and businesses at risk. And whereas unfounded fears and perpetuated stigma about Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders have contributed to increasing rates of bullying, harassment, and hate crimes against AAPI persons. And whereas the Montebello Unified School District, in an effort to combat racism, xenophobia, and intolerance against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, will work to ensure that all members of Asian American and Pacific Islander communities, no matter their background, the language they speak, or their religious beliefs, are treated with dignity and equity. And now therefore be it resolved that the Montebello Unified School District is in accordance with other local and state entities, hereby condemning and combating racism, xenophobia, and intolerance against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders in the United States of America. And be it finally resolved that the Montebello Unified School District adopts this resolution number 20 on this 5th day of May.
Thank you, Ms. Cabrera. I would also like to share a few words, if you don't mind. Good evening, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity and express my support for this resolution condemning and combating racism, xenophobia, and intolerance against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. It is unfortunate that in today's modern society, we still have these plaguing issues that persist. Our resolution tonight shows our commitment to acknowledging and making sure that our students and community learn about these issues and recognize the importance of tolerance and equality. Specifically, I just want to reiterate some of the lines in one of the opening paragraphs of the resolution. That Montebello Unified shall be a place where all students, employees, and families feel welcome and safe, regardless of their immigration status, race, color, ancestry, national origin, ethnic group identification, age, religion, marital or parental status, physical or mental disability, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression. I feel like this is a responsibility we all bear to make sure that collectively we become a more informed, peaceful, and just society. In the words of a great civil rights activist, Yuri Kochiyama, who said, "Consciousness is power, consciousness is education and knowledge. Consciousness is becoming aware. Tomorrow's world is yours to build." In closing, thank you for bringing this forward and reiterating our district's commitment to supporting tolerance, peace, and safe environment for all. I fully support this resolution. Thank you. Yes.
I was gonna go ahead and move to approve resolution number 20.
So we're actually going to read through all of them, and then we're going to approve all resolutions together.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, Ms. Gutierrez. Okay, moving on to resolution number 21, Dr. Yuan.
Yes, good evening again. Tonight we present resolution number 21, May 2021, recognition of the month of May as National Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. We recommend adoption that the board approves resolution number 21.
Thank you, Dr. Yuan. I would like to call on Ms. Gutierrez to read resolution number 21.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. So I'm going to read resolution number 21, May 2021, recognition of the month of May as National Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Whereas in 1977, Congress introduced a House resolution to proclaim the first 10 days of May as Asian Pacific Heritage Week, a celebration of Asians and Pacific Islanders in the United States. And whereas in October 1978, President Jimmy Carter signed a joint resolution designating this as an annual celebration, which we now know as the Asian Pacific Heritage Week. And whereas in 1990, May was chosen to commemorate the immigration of the first Japanese to the United States, which was on May 1843, and to mark the anniversary of the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad on May 10, 1869, and in which the majority of the workers who laid the tracks were Chinese immigrants. And whereas in 1990, Congress voted to expand Asian Pacific Heritage from a week to a month-long celebration, and in May 1992, the month of May was permanently designated as Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. And whereas studies have found that the academic needs of Asian American and Pacific Islander students are frequently overlooked, whereas understanding Asian and Pacific Islander history is an important part of celebrating Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And whereas the diversity, no, I'm sorry, I'm going to skip through because it's a little long if y'all don't mind. Whereas in Montebello Unified School District, Asian American and Pacific Islanders make up 2.5% of the student population and approximately 10.3% of the student population in Los Angeles County. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Education of the Montebello Unified School District that May 2021 is designated as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month with appropriate instructional activities to recognize the countless contributions that Asian American and Pacific Islanders made in helping our nation. Passed, approved, and adopted this 5th day of May 2021 at the regular meeting of Montebello Unified School District Board of Education, Los Angeles County, California.
Thank you, Ms. Gutierrez. Would any of the board members like to share any words before we proceed? Okay. Well, hearing none, I just want to share a few words. So once again, I just want to say it's really important that we take this opportunity to learn about and reflect on the contributions that Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders have made to our history and to our nation. Our resolution tonight shows our commitment to this and making sure that our students and community learn about and recognize this history as well. Specifically acknowledging the contributions that Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders made to our government, industry, commerce, agriculture, science, literature, and the arts. So once again, just thank you for bringing this forward. Just want to reiterate my support for this resolution. Thank you. Dr. Yuan, resolution number 22.
Yes, tonight we present resolution number 22, May 2021, National Physical Fitness and Sports Month. And we recommend that the board approves resolution number 22.
Thank you, Dr. Ewan. Ms. Magana, will you read resolution number 22?
Yes. This measure would affirm the month of May 2021 as National Physical Fitness and Sports Month in the Montebello Unified School District. Whereas the Montebello Unified School District aspires to provide physical fitness and sports programs that contribute to and enhance the quality of life of students. And whereas schools can promote physical activity through comprehensive school education programs, including recess, classroom-based physical activity, sports, and interscholastic sports. And whereas children and youth who partake in recess, physical activity, and sports programs have increased motor skills, healthy lifestyles, social skills, a sense of fair play, strong teamwork skills, and self-discipline. And whereas regular physical activity promotes important health benefits and reduces the risk for obesity, it also is associated with higher levels of self-esteem and lower levels of anxiety and stress. Whereas sports programs promote citizenship, sportsmanship, and a sense of pride in schools and communities. Whereas sports programs teach lifelong lessons and skills of teamwork, self-discipline, and facilitate the physical and emotional development of our district's youth. Whereas participation in sports teams and physical activity can improve grade point average, school attachment, educational aspirations, and likelihood of graduation. And whereas the Montebello Unified School District Board of Education strongly supports efforts to increase physical education, physical activity, and participation in youth sports. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Montebello Unified School District Board of Education hereby recognizes May 2021 as National Physical Fitness and Sports Month to renew our commitment to make regular physical activity and sports a part of students' lives and the central role of physical education and sports in creating a healthy lifestyle for all children and youth.
Thank you, Ms. Magana. Would any of the board members like to make any comments before we proceed? Okay, hearing none, I just have a few words. So I've had the privilege to attend some of our students' return to sport on campuses and with the protocols, of course, but it's just been so amazing to see this. I know throughout this pandemic and time of distance learning, our staff has been hardworking, finding creative ways to keep our students active. We all know how much energy our students can have, and I think physical activity and sports is a great way to harness and positively capture that energy. We all know that physical activity is a vital part of our students' mental well-being and health. I'm glad that our district is able to provide programs that promote health, well-being, and physical activity. Once again, I just want to reaffirm my support for this resolution. Thank you. Moving now to resolution number 23, and I would like to call on Dr. Garland.
Good evening, President Uribe, members of the board, Interim Superintendent Dr. Scarvana, fellow cabinet members, and our community. Tonight, we present resolution number 23, California Day of the Teacher. It is my honor to recognize the critical roles teachers play in our students' lives and their families' lives. This year, California Day of the Teacher has an even greater significance in the light of the challenges that teachers have faced during the COVID-19 crisis. Especially this year, teachers make a crucial contribution to ensuring the continuity of learning and supporting the well-being of our students. They've had to create entirely new learning environments in order for their students to continue their education, and they also provide that consistency and comfort that our students need during an unpredictable time. So thank you, teachers, for all that you do each day for our school community.
Thank you, Dr. Garland. Mr. Ramirez, will you read the resolution for us?
Yes, thank you.
I'm going to hold it up for you while you read it.
California Day of the Teacher. California teachers cultivating minds and healing hearts. Whereas the California legislature has created the Day of the Teacher to honor teachers in this teaching profession, and whereas Ed Code Section 3722 has established the second Wednesday of each May as the Day of the Teacher, this year's annual observance, thus being May 12, 2021, and providing quality education to our young people continues to be our greatest challenge in education as well as our most vital responsibility. And we rely largely on school teachers to ensure proper instruction in a wide variety of subjects, ranging from arithmetic to zoology. And in addition to teaching academics, teachers provide guidance, support, and encouragement to their students. And many times it is the interest and addition of a favorite teacher that steers a student into a career field. And the Board of Education is extremely proud of the many exemplary teachers who serve the students in the Montebello Unified School District. And it is appropriate that the Board of Education recognize teachers in the Montebello Unified School District and express gratitude for the care and concern they have for our students. Now, therefore, be it resolved that schools in the Montebello Unified School District set aside May 12, 2021 to honor and recognize the outstanding contributions teachers have made to our communities and encourage all citizens to participate in observances that express their appreciation.
Thank you. Mr. Paskowski, not sure if he's present. Would he like to share some words? Is he still present? Just want to make sure if he would like to say a few words. Oh, here, I see him.
I'm back. Hi. Yes, thank you so much. I think that one of the greatest pleasures that I have as I look out at this audience is to think that, you know, part of my work is seeing Liz here. I mean, what greater joy could you have? If you were a baker, you'd say, look at this cake. And if you were a designer of cars, you'd say, look at this amazing sports car I just designed. But if you're a teacher, you say, I don't have products, I have people. And if I make an impact on the life of a person, I have accomplished my mission. And that's what every single teacher does. I hate to say this, you're going to cringe when you hear me say this, but no teacher brags about the test scores of their students. But they do brag about the students' accomplishments in life, because that's what it's all about. You are not numbers, kids. You are people, and we want to see you grow and mature and be successful in life. So thank you for your support. We are working on this together, and we are going to give each of our students the opportunity to have a much better life than they would have had otherwise, if they would not have had the opportunity for an education. We've gone through tough times. We appreciate your support, and we're going to move forward without slowing down and make sure that each and every individual in this district benefits from a good education. So thank you for your support, and thank you for acknowledging us on this special day.
Thank you. Would any of the board members like to share any words?
I just would like to wish the teachers a happy Teacher Appreciation Week. It's currently going on, so thank you to all the teachers for all your hard work and dedication in providing excellent education to our MUSC students.
I would just like to echo that. And, you know, something that Dr. Garland mentioned was just how different and difficult it is right now that everything's being done virtually. So I think even more now this year, right after more than a year of doing things through distance learning, I just want to applaud their work, because I know it must be very difficult.
Madam President?
Yes.
So I also want to say thank you to all the hardworking teachers out there who wear so many hats, especially during this pandemic. You know, there was so much asked of you, you know, you just adapted and you persevered. And I just love to hear all these wonderful stories of just teachers, you know, thinking outside the box and just really making an impact in their students. I know that a lot of teachers really did an impact on my life. So I am eternally grateful to them. And the fact that, you know, a lot of teachers teach from the heart. And that's something that, you know, I'm grateful that they had in their heart, and that they have in their heart, because it really does make a difference. You really do positive impacts in people's lives that can really change them in a positive manner. So thank you so much for everything that you do.
Okay, I would also like to share a few words. So first and foremost, let me just take this opportunity to formally thank all the teachers in Montebello Unified School District. As an educator myself, I realize that you, our teachers, play a vital role in the lives of our children. I especially think that today's resolution, theme of cultivating minds and healing hearts, is especially fitting. You help to mold young minds and encourage our students to challenge themselves on a daily basis, inspiring them to go after their dreams. It's a job that requires lots of patience, understanding, and a lifetime of dedication. As a Japanese proverb quotes, better than 1,000 days of diligent study is one day with a great teacher. Even throughout distance learning, I want to thank you for your continued dedication and service to our students. Thank you for continuing to teach and inspire even through these difficult times. From the bottom of my heart, I want to express my sincerest appreciation for all that you do. And I would also like to just personally thank my son's MUSD teachers who have just been amazing throughout this whole distance learning. You have an abundance of patience. You have a genuine passion to teach. And as a mother, it's just been very reaffirming to have that support and to see that you will do anything to support your students. So thank you so much. And thank you for all that you do. You are a blessing and we appreciate you. We know it's not easy, but you are just so resilient. So we thank you for that. And congratulations to all of our teachers on this special day. And now we will move on to resolution number 24, and I would like to call on Dr. Garland.
Thank you, President Uribe. Tonight, we present resolution number 24, Classified School Employee Week. I'm honored to recognize the critical roles our classified personnel play in our students' and families' lives. Our classified personnel have been essential to ensuring that our schools are still running effectively and efficiently during this pandemic for our staff and our families. Our nutritional services personnel have been feeding our students. Bus drivers have been delivering essential items to families. School secretaries kept the offices accessible to families. Custodians have kept our schools clean and safe. Instructional aides have been supporting students in their Google Classroom environments. Just to name a few, I could go on. And during this unprecedented time, our classified personnel cared for and responded to the needs of our school community. Thank you so much, our classified personnel, for all that you do each day for our school community.
Thank you, Dr. Garland. I will be reading resolution number 24. Whereas the efforts of classified personnel in the Montebello Unified School District are essential and critical to the successful functioning of the district and programs, and whereas classified school employees contribute to the establishment and promotion of a positive instructional environment and play a vital role in providing for the welfare and safety of Montebello Unified School District students, and whereas the Montebello Unified School District classified personnel assist in the support of all educational programs and services at both schools and central office. And whereas classified employees in the Montebello Unified School District are deserving of special recognition for their many contributions in a wide variety of roles to the institution of public education in this country, state, and nation. Be it further resolved that the Board of Education urges all schools and certified personnel throughout this district to recognize classified employees during this week as partners in education and to applaud their hard work and dedication to the success of public education. And I will ask Ms. CSA President, Ms. Rivera, would she like to share any words? Is she still present?
Thank you, Ms. President Uribe and board members. It's appreciative. All of our classified members appreciate it. And, we all do what is needed to support our students as priority, our staff and our teachers. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you. And we gladly accept this on behalf of all classification as you heard my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Would the board like to share a few words?
I would, Madam President. So I want to sincerely say thank you so much to our classified employees, who I also believe are educators in this district. I know that personally, there were so many classified employees that impacted my life. A lot of security officers who were just so kind and so friendly to me when I arrived at school. They're still around, Mr. Tony in Montebello, Coach Salazar, that's at Bell Gardens High School, the cafeteria ladies who always snuck in like an extra apple for me. And I know how much you all impact the lives of students because you're out there, and sometimes students feel comfortable talking to you, feel comfortable coming to you. And I know that there's countless stories of kids that come to you and that you offer them advice or that you guide them and that you help them out and that you go above and beyond and you go out of your way to, help a kid out. And, I thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm also a classified employee, so I, really see myself with all of you. And so, like Miss Marisol mentioned, they hit the ground running, and I am grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Magaña. Ms. Gutierrez, I believe you unmuted yourself.
Yes, I just want to echo Board Member Magaña's words. Thank you so much to our classified personnel for being the backbone of our schools, our whole district, for transportation, for meals. I know when I was a student, I always relied on bus transportation to get me from home to school, and bus drivers are always so happy in the morning and then after school. So I really appreciated that as a student, and I do see the hard work that classified personnel does. Even right now with our pandemic, I think they are working 1,000% more than ever before, but they do it from the bottom of their heart and to support our students and to support the staff. But thank you so much. And I agree with President Rivera's comment when she mentioned that they do so much for our schools. But it's really important that we recognize your hard work and your efforts that you put into your everyday work. So thank you so much.
Ms. Cabrera.
Thank you, Madam President. I was about to ask if I could speak. I think that the same way in which, well, not the same way, but also how the teachers had to adapt and change what they did to a virtual setting. Classified had to do that, figuring out new system processes and doing a lot of that in person, right? And so I just want to call that out, say that we see it, we see you. I physically saw some of that work that was being done, especially with providing food for our families and all of that. So muchas gracias. Thank you so much for all of that hard work. Doesn't go unnoticed. And I also applaud you all for all of that and for just taking care of our students and their families.
Thank you, Ms. Cabrera. I also just want to reiterate what some of my colleagues are saying. Classified employees are just an integral part of our district, from transportation to feeding our students, to teaching them vital skills, to ensuring that schools operate smoothly, from classroom to the playground, from school bus to the cafeteria, from our maintenance crews to our custodians. Our classified employees truly make a difference in the daily lives of our students. And throughout this pandemic, we have seen our classified employees just rise up to the challenge and truly just take off running and do everything possible to support our students, to support our communities, to do everything that they possibly can to just provide some type of comfort, whether it was through food or transportation, anything that they were doing, they were willing to do it. So from the bottom of my heart, may the Lord bless you. Thank you for everything that you do. I truly just have the utmost respect for each and every single one of you. I appreciate you. And once again, just may the Lord bless you guys for everything that you do. Thank you. And with that, I will now ask if there's a motion to approve all the resolutions under 14A.
Move to approve.
I'll second that, and I'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Gutierrez?
Aye.
Mr. Ramirez?
Aye.
Ms. Cabrera?
Aye.
Ms. Magaña?
Aye.
And an aye from me as well. That motion is carried. At this time, we're going to consider item 14B, and I would like to call on Dr. Garland.
Madam President, members of the board, at the December 11th, 2020 Board of Education meeting, the signature authorization form was authorized for the period of December 12th, 2020 through December 20th, 2021. Since that time, personnel changes have occurred. We've updated the authorized signatures to include Dr. Mark Scarvana and Ms. Apir Hakobian.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself. I move to approve this item. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote. Ms. Gutierrez?
Aye.
Mr. Ramirez?
Aye.
Ms. Cabrera?
Aye.
Ms. Magaña.
Aye.
And an aye for me as well. That motion is carried. At this time, we're going to consider item 14C, and I would like to call on Dr. Ewan.
Good evening. The district intends to adopt the Visual and Performing Arts Plan, which was facilitated by the Los Angeles County Department of Arts and Culture, along with a Montebello Strategic Arts Committee consisting of students, parents, teachers, principals, classified and certificated personnel, and community members. This plan outlines the Visual and Performing Arts Strategic Plan for the next 5 years from 2021 to 2026 and incorporates the California Art Standards for dance, media arts, music, theater, and visual arts. At this time, I would like to introduce Mercedes Buckhorn, Program Specialist for Visual and Performing Arts, to provide the board a brief update about this plan.
Ms. Buckhorn, are you there? Dr. Ewan, is there a way that we can see whether she can hear us or she's connected?
Yeah, let me try. Let me give her a text.
She's on the panel.
All right, I think Ms. Buckhorn is having some difficulty. So let me present the presentation on her behalf, and I'll try to do my best as she facilitated this process.
Thank you, Dr. Ewan.
Sure. So this strategic arts plan was developed by a committee member, which consisted of parents, students, certificate and classified staff, as well as community members. It was supported by the Los Angeles County Department of Arts and Culture and the
Can you hear me?
Oh, are you there, Mercedes?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
go ahead. I'll pass it back to you.
I'm so sorry. Okay. Thank you for your patience.
Just
Good
tell me
evening.
when and I'll forward, okay?
Okay. Good evening, Board Member President Madrigal Uribe, members of the board, Interim Superintendent Scavarna, and cabinet members. I'm delighted to have an opportunity to present a major accomplishment in the visual and performing arts that has been 2 years in the making. We created a Vision Performing Arts Committee that represents all segments of our arts community and challenged ourselves to envision the future and put them into a 5-year timeline to make that vision a reality. The committee is very proud to present this plan to you today. Next. Visual Performing Arts has new standards and a new framework, which includes media arts as a 5th discipline. Preparing art teachers to teach to these standards using the new framework is essential for keeping art teachers at the vanguard of excellence in arts instruction. Next. The need for social and emotional growth, especially in this pandemic period, has never been more important. The arts provides our students a perfect opportunity to express themselves. We want to make sure our students have access to those careers. Our goal is to create the opportunity to show their talent in showcases and performances. Involving our own Montebello arts community and beyond is essential to creating high-quality training and career experience. Of course, at the heart of any good plan is to assure your efforts forward are supported by sustainable funding and resources. Next. Looking to the future and implementation of these 5-year goals, our committee identified the highest priorities. These areas represent the first, second, and third level actions. The first priority, establish a VAPA leader at each school. The second priority, adoption of curriculum, textbooks, and resources. And the third priorities, expand funding, resources, and partnership, hire art specialists and leaders as needed, provide professional learning. Next. I would like to thank and acknowledge our outstanding committee that represents all arts disciplines and brought many voices to our process. We used a consensus building process to create a vision to enhance arts instruction across all grade levels. At this time, I would like to introduce a video by Jessie Mendoza, dance teacher at Bell Gardens Intermediate. One more.
Hi, my name is Jessie Mendoza. I am the Artistic Director here at Bell Gardens Intermediate School of Performing Arts. The arts have been such a big part of my life, and I wanted to bring that back to this community, not only as a leader, but as a teacher and a mentor. And we were invited to perform at the USC Summit, where students performed and got a standing ovation from former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was such a beautiful moment to see all of the kids' hard work. They apply what they learned here in other academics and in other real-life scenarios and become critical thinkers and creators and collaborators, all many aspects of our board's vision. So on behalf of all the VAPA teachers here at Montebello Unified School District, we want to say thank you to our board for their continued support of the performing arts.
Next.
Hi, my name is Jay.
Okay. Now I would like to introduce Barbara Chavira, Friends of Montebello member and one of our own MUSD committee members, to speak. Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. Good evening, President Montebello Uribe, board members, Interim Superintendent Scarvana, and Executive Administrative staff. My name is Barbara Chavira, and I reside at 301 East Andrick Street, right across the street from Macy Intermediate. As the current secretary, former president of the Friends of Montebello Unified School District Foundation, current substitute retired MUSD teacher, parent of 3 Sure High School graduates who participated in the marching band orchestra speech, I want to thank you for providing the Visual and Performing Arts Committee the time to develop the proposed VAPA strategic arts plan for the students in our district. As a well-known saying indicates, when children cannot speak out, they will act out. Our students will soon be returning to the classroom, and their teachers will have concerns, partly due to the pandemic, about not only their students' physical well-being, but also their social and emotional health issues. However, knowing that there is a K-12 VAPA plan and process in place, our MUSD stakeholders can take comfort in the fact that one way that our students will have the ability to express their feelings will be through their exposure and participation in the visual and performing arts. For example, one of my former students, a very bright but troubled 8th grade bilingual male, flirting with gang affiliation, continued to struggle and fall behind during his 9th and 10th grade years. That he might be interested in trying. He admitted that he'd always wanted to learn the saxophone, but he thought it might be too late since the band class was usually full with students who had been participating in the class since their 9th grade. In fact, these were not the students with whom he usually associated. So she asked the band director if he'd be willing to accept the student. Mr. Narumi was well known for his structured, engaging, and nurturing classes. So of course he said yes. I'm happy to report that said student graduated with the rest of his class, but has become a law-abiding, productive, and contributing member to his community. He is a parent and in the arts. He no longer had to act out, but was able to use music to speak out and became involved his education. When Ms. Buck gained confidence through their work, their visual artwork, including many special education students. This board should be proud, and as a former MUSD board trustee, by the way, much of that time, the only female on the board, I am encouraged this Baptist strategic arts plan will provide students in this district from an early age to thrive and excel through their exposure and experience with the visual and performing arts. Thank you for this opportunity.
Once again, I would like to thank the board for for allowing us to present today. And we are looking forward to creating a fantastic program in the coming years. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Ms. Buckhorn. Thank you, Ms. Chavira. Would the board like to share any words before we approve this item? Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you to all of our BAPA teachers for creating just critical thinkers, collaborators, for everything that you're doing to support our students, because we know that education is not a one size fits all. So, you know, these type of programs are just amazing, and it just feeds to that critical, just to having that, how can I say, getting like their critical thinking skills. I think it's just powerful. So just thank you so much to our BAPA teachers. Thank you to everyone who's been here. Thank you to everyone who collaborated to make this plan possible. I know it wasn't easy. I know it took a lot of your own time to dedicate for this, but thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And with that, I move to approve this item. May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote. Ms. Gutierrez?
Aye.
Mr. Ramirez?
Aye.
Ms. Cabrera?
Aye.
Ms. Magaña?
Aye.
And an aye from me as well. That motion is carried. At this time, we're going to consider item 14D, and I would like to call on Ms. Hakopian.
Good evening, Madam President Uribe, esteemed board members, Interim Superintendent Dr. Skvarna, and community participants. The Montebello Teachers Association has submitted the following proposed amendments for the 2021-22 negotiations. Article 8, class size facilities planning. Specifically, reduce the number of human contacts per day for the safety of students and staff. Specify class size caps, caseload caps, and stipends in special education and general education programs. Lower and review class and student ratios and options in all programs. Article 12, wages. Explicate summer school, extended school year, intersession, and work beyond the school year, and additional assignments for all bargaining unit members. Review and define salary, schedule, placement, and advancement. Increase wages for all bargaining unit members, including but not limited to salaries, hourly rates, stipends, and summer school. Article 17, safety, security, and general work conditions. Protect bargaining unit members from unsafe conditions, including proper personal protective equipment, clean and sanitized work areas, guarantees of physical distancing from staff, students, and members of the community. Create safer school sites for bargaining unit members during COVID-19 pandemic and beyond. The association seeks to improve all aspects of working conditions for bargaining unit members. And the district looks forward to positive and collaborative negotiations with the Montebello Teachers Association. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hakopian. I move to approve this item. May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote. Ms. Gutierrez?
Aye.
Mr. Ramirez?
Aye.
Ms. Cabrera?
Aye.
Ms. Magaña?
Aye.
And an aye from me as well. That motion is carried. Moving on to consent agenda. Are there any items to be pulled for further discussion and or action? Okay, hearing none, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented. May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote. Ms. Gutierrez?
Aye.
Mr. Ramirez?
Aye.
Ms. Cabrera?
Aye.
Ms. Magaña.
Aye.
And an aye for me as well. That motion is carried. At this time, we'll be moving on to board member reports, and I will begin with Mr. Ramirez.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just wanted to just wish a happy week for our teachers. As a teacher myself, I know how difficult it has been this last year, over a year and a half almost, and just the tough job that has been in front of us. And as much as the conversation about test scores and all these different things have come from all over the place, we know that we're doing our best to make sure our students are feeling safe and supported in every aspect of their lives. And I just really want to truly appreciate all of you for doing the work that you do. So thank you so much. Other than that, just keep drinking water and have a great day, everybody.
Ms. Cabrera.
Buenas noches, everyone. Good evening. I just hope everyone is doing well, staying healthy. And I have a couple of questions or updates to ask for. I believe the student body president from Bell Gardens High School mentioned the marquee again. So if I could get an update on what's the status on the marquee, that would be great. So I believe that's Mr. Ellingson. The other thing, I have my notes here, the BJHS pool. I know that there was a mention during public comment about some issues with the pool. I would also like an update on that, like what's the status of the pool? Are any updates going to be made to it? I would love to be able to check it out myself if that's possible too. So if I can be supported with that, that'd be great, and with that information. The other thing, we heard a lot of comments on like, we don't know what's happening. We don't know what the plan is. We don't know what's coming, or things that have already been done in terms of reopening. So I would, just ask that we do come up with a plan to update our community on what is happening. Like, can we put something on our websites? Can we send out a letter and put it out there? It seems like there's a lot of questions, a lot of anxiety around it, obviously, because we all want to make sure that we are able to reopen the school safely. And so if there is something that we can put together to inform our community and get rid of some of that anxiety, that'd be amazing. So we can work on that'd be great. And the last thing would just be Happy Mother's Day. I know that's coming up. Happy Mother's Day, early Mother's Day to Board President Uribe, any mother that's here on the call, and obviously, especially my mother, who I know is not on the call, but I still have to give her a shout out. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and I'll see you all in a couple of weeks.
Ms. Gutierrez.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Cinco de Mayo. I just want to give a quick little update about what's happening in MUSD about our reopening of our schools. Our executive cabinet has been working really hard to make sure we are ready to open up for the fall. So what has been happening is we have carpet replacements and classroom paintings. We have HVAC systems that are under assessment and that they're pending in their progress. We have some air filters coming in to upgrade them. We have air purifiers as well that we're gonna install them. We have some hand sanitizer stations coming in. We have some washes too. We have some motion activated restroom things that we're looking into, and also some signage to put around our facilities. And we do have the Clorox 360s that are coming into our classrooms. So there is no time being wasted. Our interim superintendent, our executive cabinet is working really hard to making sure that we are full force ahead. The gas is on the pedals on the gas. So we are working really hard to making sure. I know that a lot of community members have questions, so I just want to update you what's going on. And furniture too, I forgot to mention that furniture is being selected as well. So that way we can provide new furniture for our classrooms to have for our students, and also the protectors that we approved a couple of board meetings ago that they'll have, that they can actually take with them. They're portable. So there's so many things that is happening. So we'll work with executive cabinet to see if we can do like a presentation or something, like board member Cabrera mentioned. But thank you to the family, to our executive cabinet that is doing an amazing job for this. Also, I just want to thank executive cabinet and our principals for coming together and strategizing about our senior activities. I know because of COVID, there's regulations and some restrictions that we can't or cannot do, but it's so exciting that we are gonna have in-person graduation. So we're moving forward. So that is really exciting for our class of 2021. But with that being said, I just want to say happy early Mother's Day to our beautiful mothers here in MUSD that are currently watching and here present. And that is all for my reports. Thank you so much and have a great night.
Ms. Magaña.
Hello, everyone. Thanks to everyone that's joining us today. Thank you for all the comments, I love to hear everything that everyone has to say, how passionate they are about our district, how much they love and they're passionate about our students, about our district, about everything that's going on. I want to say thank you so much to Coach Ackerman, to the principals, to the coaches out there. I attended one of the volleyball or two of the volleyball games, and they were held at Montebello High School, and they put like an outside turf, and girls volleyball were able to play there, and they were just they were so grateful. We got to interact with the volleyball players, with the coaches, with the cheerleaders, some parents that came up to us to talk and to discuss some concerns, and we were more than happy to talk to them. I also want to say thank you to Cabinet and to the principals for attending the football game, the last football game of the season. That was a blast. It was really nice to see everyone out there. I got to wear my my Shore High School Letterman jacket, so we had some friendly rivalries going on there, and that was really, really fun. So I'm super excited. Thank you to our principals and again to Cabinet for patiently waiting for those guidelines to be able to have an in-person graduation. There's so many guidelines, so it is so much work, but we're just so grateful that you have been so thorough and just going out of your way to make this happen. So thanks to you, everyone. We'll be able to celebrate, their graduations, and unfortunately we can't have everyone maybe that they may want there, but we are going to hopefully have some people there, right, to support them. And and to Mr. Skvarna especially, thank you so much. You in 2 weeks have done more than anything had been done in the last 6 months, sir. And I'm so grateful to you. I'm so grateful that you're here for 2 years. I'm so grateful that you are charging us like half of the amount that we usually pay out. And you have been working here full time and nonstop, sir. And Cabinet, you have been hands-on on every single thing. So thank you so much. You are amazing. If we picture this district as a car, you really did put, the pedal to the metal, or, you're going through stop signs even, you're going through it all. And we are just so grateful that we brought you on and we stand by you, sir. Thank you to Cabinet for all your hard work. Thank you to your teachers. Thank you to CSEA and to CSEA President for caring, for standing up for your employees. So thank you all and have a good night. And happy Mother's Day to everyone. Thank you.
So I have quite a few little notes scribbled here. First of all, I want to recognize the Mcpta Awards that they just had gosh, I lose track of my days now because I'm in finals right now, but just a few days ago. And I want to thank all of our parent volunteers, just looking at the dedication and hearing everything that you're doing for our students, even right now in the midst of a global pandemic. I was just so inspired by the passion, by the servant leadership, just the dedication that so many of our parents dedicate precious time to make all of our schools better and communities and support our students and support our staff. So thank you from the bottom of my heart once again to all the parent volunteers, to the staff that put that together. Thank you. This was our first virtual Mcpta Awards ceremony. So thank you to the staff that put that together. Also, I want to recognize the first workability conference that was led by alumni and current students in the sped ed department. Thank you to our special education staff that also put that together. I just have to say that I was blown away by these students and sharing their testimonies and talking about obstacles that they endured, and they did not stop. They prevailed. They are so resilient. They are amazing and powerful role models. And I just can't wait to like physically meet them and have lunch or have a cup of coffee, anything. I was just so inspired by them, and I would love for them to know that. Thank you to our special education department for creating that, giving them that platform to share their stories. There was over, I believe it was 800 students assigned, were enrolled to that. When I was there, it was close to 700 that were logged in. So amazing. I've never seen that many people in a conference. It was just such a beautiful experience. So thank you to all of you for inspiring me. Thank you to our sped ed staff for having that and giving our students that platform. Also, happy Mother's Day. I would like to wish all the mothers just a very blessed Mother's Day. Our job is definitely not easy, but we just, I think, have the best job ever. And we just have the most joy that we can ever, receive as a mother. And especially just talking about my children, it's a blessing and they are my joy. So to my mother as well, I know she's listening right now. Mom, te quiero decir feliz Día de las Madres. Que Dios te bendiga. Eres única y eres especial. Y le pido a Dios que te llene de bendiciones por ser una mamá que hizo todo lo que pudo para sus 5 hijas. Te agradezco y te amo mucho. I would also like to give my little sister and my niece, wish them a very happy birthday, May 7th and May 8th. I love you all very much. You guys are my motivation for everything that I do. So I love you guys. You guys are my #1 cheerleaders. Also to our community, we heard a lot of valid, what can I say? Concerns that parents had. And you are the #1 advocate for your child. So I just want to thank you for being the advocate. Thank you, Board Member Gutierrez, for sharing what's going on behind the scenes. I would also like to share that Executive Cabinet is actually working on presentations right now to share with all of our schools. So that's going to be presented either through like a virtual, assembly, also for parents. If we can also present here in June, so whatever community members are joining us can also see what's going on, what's being done. We can see visually, exactly what we are purchasing, what we are doing. There's a lot being done, and I think that school reopenings, yes, we have a lot to do, and there's our facilities are not where they should have been for a very long time, unfortunately. But at this point, we're going to move forward. We are doing so much, to all of our executive cabinet, to Mr. Skavarna. Just want to say that I truly value the passion that you have and the urgency that you have and the priority that everyone is placing to have these schools reopen. I'm not only looking at this as a board member, but I'm looking at school reopenings as a mother. So my standards are very high. But I just want to give you guys that reassurance. And, in the near future, we will be presenting something to all of our students. They will get to see a presentation of what's being done, what to expect once they return to school. So hopefully they'll have that excitement. Things will be different. And, the environment will just be amazing for them. we're going to do everything we can for them to create a positive environment and definitely focus on their social emotional well-being. So with that, everyone have a very blessed evening. Thank you for joining us. God bless you all. And that will conclude my board member report. At this point, do I have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
President Uribe, if I may?
Yes.
I just wanted to ask if Mr. Scavarno maybe wanted to say something.
Absolutely. Can you folks hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And
Well, I've spent a lot of time listening tonight, and I would like to start with a couple of things. One, classified teachers, adult ed, management folks in this district are remarkable people, and they've actually weathered a storm that is incredibly difficult for someone who hasn't gone through COVID to even relate to. People say to me about a year ago, I went in for I thought I had the flu, ended up I had COVID. I found out by going in that when I had COVID that I had stage 4 colon cancer. The doctor told me to go home right in front of my wife and said, "You have 6 months to live. Clean up your stuff at home, get your house in order." Blah, 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 blah. So I got 4 chemotherapies. This tumor shrunk, which was inoperable. They took it out, and I've been cancer-free, and that's actually quite remarkable. People have said to me, why would you want to come to Montebello and take this on? I take a look at the governing board, and I see every one of them doing the right thing and concerned about the right things, and that's doing everything to get this place ready for these students. If you look at the divisions, business services, maintenance operations, instructional folks, everything, it may not seem like everything's happening instantaneously, but there's going to become a time when this happens real quickly. So my motivation to come here was twofold. One, I had the ability to make a lot of friends here and realize how great people were when I was the fiscal advisor for LA County Office of Ed. Number two, I actually thought that I could help pull this off and get things going in a wonderful community that I think, in my mind's eye, deserves far, far better. How can I do that quickly? Well, these facilities, as the board president says, have not been that well taken care of, and it's not because of anyone who works on them. It's not because of management or whatever. It's because of priorities. And you folks have inherited a lot of problems. I could actually argue that it's almost like being the captain of the Titanic after the person hit the iceberg and they said, now you're the captain. Well, good things come out of turmoil. And every one of us that have lived through COVID and every one of us that goes through this turmoil that we've lived through, including my little incident with this thing called cancer, because we all know somebody who's had the cancer issue, makes us stronger. We will get this done. We will negotiate with our teachers. We will negotiate with our classified folks. We'll negotiate and make things better. I want to negotiate an awful lot of things with the teacher group that is going to include our teachers, the best teachers, doing a lot of the work. We have money to do this. No one's going to be pinching pennies. This is a time to actually bring the best to the top. That includes classified, and have all of these folks working together in the same direction. I just could not be happier to be here, as difficult as it is. And I'm spending as much time here as I need to spend, and I will continue to. But I can't say enough about the maintenance operations, business services staff, and all of these people at the district office. But above and beyond that, the unsung heroes, the classified, the teachers, adult ed folks, you name it, management. Very, very difficult right now to even any of us to take a breath and just say, wow, you know, we've gotten through something. All of us are very, very kind of untrusting that this thing is over. We want to wish for the best, and we will. But rest assured that we are hustling. Rest assured that we will inform the community. Rest assured that your difficulty that you've gone through as employees, community members, school board members, management team people, everything, I don't care, classified, certificated, whatever, it's going to get better. And it's going to look a lot better. It's going to be safer. And I want to instill pride in the students when they come here. So please help me with that. I'll be asking for you for a lot of help, everybody. And we'll get through this. And to tell you the truth, it's really, really a difficult endeavor, but it's going to end up well. I don't think that anybody that I know in this district, certainly not on this school board, is anyone that I would call a quitter. That goes for all the employees, the parents, the kids, everybody. There's no quitters here. So let us have a chance to work hard, get this done together, cooperatively with all of the different groups. I think we're going to be pleased. And I thank the board for their support, because I don't believe, and I've worked with a lot of school boards, I don't believe I've worked with one that has a combined focus in this area as strong as this one. So thank you very much for the ability to say something at the end of this meeting tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Scavarna. At this time, I move to adjourn tonight's meeting. May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote. Ms. Gutierrez?
Aye.
Mr. Ramirez?
Aye.
Ms. Cabrera?
Aye.
Ms. Magaña?
Aye.
And an aye for me as well. That motion is carried. This evening's meeting is now adjourned. Have a good evening, everyone.
Have a good evening, everybody.
Bye, everyone.